You read that right, guys. It has been 10 years since Interstellar hit theaters. 10 years, a whole decade. Isn't that crazy? It's actually been a little over 10 years because it came out October 14th, 2014, and it is December 12th, 2024. So a little over 10 years, but that is insane. That is crazy how much time has passed. This film means so much to people. It's so well written. The music is amazing. A lot of the videos you see on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all those fun little edits and things like that, a good portion of videos you see on social media contain Interstellar music. I mean, that really big, like, booming music gives you kind of like this spacey vibe. Yeah, that music comes from this film. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's from this film. Anyways, that music was composed by Hans Zimmer. He has done a lot of films ranging from Lion King, Kung Fu Panda, the Dark Knight trilogy, Pirates of the Caribbean, and a lot more. So he's a really great composer, and he was perfect for this film. But 10 years, can you believe that? Anyways, when I first watched this film, I will admit, like, this movie is made for IMAX. Most of Christopher Nolan's movies are made for IMAX. He films them on IMAX cameras. And sorry, dude, I totally watched this film for the first time on an airplane. Yeah, sorry about that. The audio wasn't that great. Of course, the screen didn't show the movie that well. So sorry about that. That's probably not what you want people to watch it on. But I really wanted to watch the movie, and it was on the plane for free, so I had to take advantage. But anyways, saw it a second time with one of my friends at my house, and then just a couple days ago, I saw it in IMAX. You're welcome. I saw it in IMAX for the first time, and oh my gosh, my ears hurt so bad after that. It was so loud. Of course, I was like towards the front, but still, it was the music made it really loud in there, but it was totally worth it. It was awesome. It is like the film to see on IMAX. It just looks so good. It's just beautiful. The sound, the colors, the visuals, everything about it is just awesome in IMAX. And it's also awesome on any other platform you watch it on. So except airplanes, don't watch it on the airplane. Anyways, I decided to make this video to celebrate Interstellar's 10-year birthday. We're going to be going through some fun facts about the film. We're going to be talking a little bit about production and then its impact on cinema, my thoughts on the film, and whatever comes up. So if that interests you, come along for the ride and watch the video. Now, these fun facts are coming from an article by Screen Rant. They're pretty trustworthy, and I trust their stuff. So without further ado, let's read them off. Fun fact number 1. The crew created TARS for real. You know that marine robot in the film? There were 2 of them, Case and TARS, I believe. TARS was the robot with 70% humor, and he's a marine robot. So, yeah, that was actually a puppet. That was a real puppet. Interstellar's robot character TARS, whose name stands for Technically Artificial Robotic System, is a lot different than most other AI characters from movies and TV shows, like R2-D2, Ultron, and Bender, not Blender. He doesn't have any human features, although he does have a programmed personality. TARS was actually created for real. Most shots of the character featured no CGI effects at all because he was really there. He was more of a puppet than an actual robot, and he was controlled by Bill Irwin, who voiced the character on set and was erased from all the shots in post-production. That's interesting. I've heard that fact before, and that's really cool. So I could totally see how a human could fit inside that, the arms and everything like that, and like the body of the robot. Kind of like they did it with R2-D2. That's pretty cool. Fun fact number 2. Dr. Kip Thorne laid out 2 rules for the movie's science. I'm not sure who Dr. Kip Thorne is, and if you guys don't know who he is, this article is about to explain that for us. Dr. Kip Thorne, the theoretical physicist whose ideas formed the basis for Interstellar, laid out 2 rules for the movie's science. Nothing in the film could contradict the proven laws of physics, and any outrageous speculation would come from the mind of a scientist, and not the mind of a screenwriter. Interesting. That's probably why the movie was so grounded. Like, it wasn't anything too far-fetched like Star Wars or Star Trek. Of course, those are like different films, different, like, there's aliens and whatnot, and those are like different stories, and I could totally, that's fine. They're up in their own space. No pun intended. But yeah, Interstellar felt like way more grounded in the sense that it felt like more real, kind of like The Martian. Like it was more believable. It could almost happen like in a couple of years, kind of believable. So, anyways, Christopher Nolan agreed to these rules on the condition that they wouldn't hinder the filmmaking process. Although this didn't prevent arguments between the two, of course, as Thorne once had to spend 2 weeks persuading Nolan not to have the characters travel faster than the speed of light. Interesting. Christopher Nolan watched Star Wars 12 times as a kid in the theaters when it came out. So he was probably really attached to Star Wars, and so this whole speed of light thing, it was probably really appealing to him when making this film. But that's crazy. That's interesting. I mean, that's funny that they had an argument about that. Third fun fact. Anne Hathaway got hypothermia on set. Yikes. While filming the scene set on the ice planet in Iceland, Anne Hathaway came down with a case of hypothermia. This was due to her astronaut suit being open when she was sloshing around the ice-cold water. I'm pretty sure on the ice planet, if they were filming on the ice planet, there's no water featured in the ice planet scene. So maybe they got this fact wrong because there was a water planet, so maybe they filmed part of that in Iceland. When Hathaway told Christopher Nolan that she was coming down with hypothermia, he said, "Okay, let's roll right now." That's crazy. You gotta love that guy. I mean, he wants everything to be practical. So like, if she's freezing, it's almost like he wants that realism to be captured in the movie. So I mean, I could understand that. She was 5 minutes away from dying. So the way Nolan saw it, they had 5 minutes to get the shots they needed. That is something he would do. I could totally see him doing that. Hathaway explained, "I was just really, really, really cold, and it's not that Chris sent me off to get warmed up. Wimps don't last long on this set." That makes sense. I mean, he's gotta hand it to him. He loves realism. Fun fact number 4. Steven Spielberg was originally going to direct this film. Before Christopher Nolan signed on to direct Interstellar and turned it into a big budget, ethereal, I think that's how you say that, homage to Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, Steven Spielberg was attached to helm the project. He was attached to Interstellar as far back as 2006 and brought on Jonathan Nolan to punch up the script. Yeah, Jonathan Nolan is also really talented. He's Christopher Nolan's brother, and he worked on, not at the time of filming this, I don't think, but he worked on the Fallout show based on the Fallout video game series. Now, that was a really good show. Usually video game adaptations that are put on film or on a TV show don't really turn out that well. It's kind of a curse, but 2024 was definitely a year, I think, that broke that. When Steven Spielberg moved on to other movies and Interstellar was left without a director, Nolan suggested his brother for the project. Christopher Nolan already had ideas for a sci-fi epic film, so he added those ideas into his brother's existing script, and the film in its final form was born. That's really cool. Final fun fact. The original script for Interstellar, when Steven Spielberg was attached to direct, is virtually an entirely different movie. Murph was a boy. Probes were sent into space instead of humans, and it was a probe that led Cooper to NASA's secret base, which was located on an island in California. Yeah, I'm definitely liking the script that they ended up with. The robot characters were more humanoid with shoulders and hands, and TARS was going to be sucked into space while the ship was stuck between 2 black holes. There were going to be 2 black holes. Honestly, like I just said, I really do appreciate that they went with the original script. Now that this could have turned out really good too, but just from those facts alone, I'm kind of glad that they went with the original script. I love the robot designs for TARS and the other robots. They were so unique. Like, they weren't like any other robots we'd seen in film before, so I really liked that. And if probes were sent into space instead of humans, we wouldn't have gotten that epic space journey that we got in the film. So I'm definitely glad that they went with the new script. Okay, moving on to my thoughts on the film. It is definitely, in my opinion, one of the greatest movies of all time. Now, that's just my opinion, but I really do think that it is one of the greatest movies of all time. I really think it defines cinema in a way. Like, its music is so recognizable. It's so recognizable, and it stands out so much from other music and other films. And it even stands apart like a lot from Hans Zimmer's work, like from his other work. Because Christopher Nolan asked Hans Zimmer to make this music different. He didn't even like show Hans Zimmer the script. He just gave him a couple words on a piece of paper, apparently, that just explained what the film was going to be like relatively about. He didn't even give him a script. So that's just really cool that like he didn't even really know what he was writing for, and the music is just so recognizable and so awesome and so profound. My 3 favorite songs, I think you can call them songs. They don't have any words, but I'm just going to call them that. My 3 favorite songs from the motion picture soundtrack are Cornfield Chase, Mountains, and No Time for Caution. Those songs highlight the scenes that they are in just so well. Cornfield Chase is when we first get a taste of the main Interstellar theme. You can really hear it and feel it before they even get in the truck and go chase the probe on the cornfield. But it's just, you feel like you're floating. Like it's such an insane piece of music. It's hard to describe. I really wish I could play it on YouTube, but of course copyright strikes and laws and things like that prevent me from doing so. But it's unreal. If you haven't seen the movie or you haven't heard the song, go listen to Cornfield Chase. Another one would be Mountains. Now, this is probably one of my favorite scenes behind the scene that I'm about to explain in a bit. It's such a terrifying scene. So it's when they're landing on Miller's planet, which is like the water planet. And this planet is a huge planet, but it's just got knee-deep water on it. So it's just like, imagine like a planet as big as our Earth, but it only consists of knee-deep water. That's just creepy to think about, honestly, in my opinion. You learn later on in the movie that they spot some mountains in the distance, so maybe there's more than just knee-deep water. And so Brand points out some mountains. Then Cooper quickly points out that those are not mountains. And that is just one of the best scenes because the mountains are actually gigantic tsunami waves. And it's so creepy because the waves creep up so fast, and they're so tall. And it's really, really ominous and scary. So that scene where you can hear like the clock ticking, like each second in that song is a day passed on Earth, is just, that's also unsettling because you want them to get the data from the spaceship that crashed. You want them to make it out alive. You don't want them to spend any more time on the planet because they're going to waste a lot of time back on Earth at home that they could be spending with their families. Like an hour on that planet, they spend an hour, it'd be like 7 years that they wasted. So it's insane like how focused they need to be to get their mission done on this planet, because if they spend any more time, then they're going to be like decades older than their kids when they come back. It's insane. So anyways, I got away from the song, but Mountains is also so good. It's awesome. It's a very slow song and it picks up very slow, but it's great. And then I think my favorite on this list would be No Time for Caution. This is probably close to the most popular one, I think, of the album, if I'm not mistaken, other than the main theme. But No Time for Caution is when Matt Damon's character, blows up the Endurance, which is like their main space station. And the main space station is also shaped like a clock. That's also a reference to like the film's underlying theme of time. Just thought I'd throw that fact in there. But anyways, he blows up a good portion of the space station. It sends it spinning almost down towards the planet, but at a really fast pace. And so they need to like take their ship that they are in, and they need to match the speed because the Endurance is spinning so fast one way, and they have to like spin as fast this way just so they can match the speed and then lock into the Endurance and then slow down the spaceship and make sure it's like out of orbit and they can go back home. So that is a really, really tough scene. Go check out No Time for Caution. You'll definitely be motivated after you listen to it. It just makes you want to like go do something, like drive really fast, or like don't do that, or like go save someone from like a burning building or something like that. I don't know, anything really. It's really cool. I really like that song. It's very, very intense. One of the most intense songs I've ever heard, probably. But it's really good. All right, I'm going to end this video with saying my thoughts on the film. Like I said, I think it's one of the greatest films of all time for a couple reasons. One reason is the story. It's very unique in its approach to a lot of things, to its production, to its sense of realism too. And also, you don't see many films focused around dust bowls, like the Earth getting destroyed by a dust bowl or a crop light. You usually like see it's a zombie apocalypse or like a pandemic or like an ice age or nuclear attack, something like that. So this was also very unique. The whole premise of having to leave Earth was unique. Christopher Nolan has been my favorite director for a long time, so I'm trying not to be biased. Now, Ridley Scott did make my favorite film, but he's not my favorite director. Christopher Nolan has been my favorite director for a long time. And then Steven Spielberg is just behind Christopher Nolan in that bracket. But yeah, I just thought he did a really good job. Like watching it a third time, finally getting to see it in IMAX and in theaters, it really makes the story sit with you better. It really allowed me to understand the story better. And there really is just something about the noise and music being louder. It just makes you feel in the moment. And it's it really just does add to the experience and makes me like the film even better. I really thought that the theme of love transcending time and space like gravity was really cool. I thought that the connection between Cooper and his daughter Murphy was really cool. It was a very emotional film, especially when he realized he lost all those years on that water planet. And all these messages from his son and from his daughter are coming back to him. That was, especially the scene when he's crying watching the videos, was very emotional and impactful. And I just love the film. It's just really just not too much I can say to prove it to you guys. There's really just not too much I can say to explain it. It's just, you kind of just got to see it for yourself. When I saw it the first time, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but having seen it a third time and actually sitting down and really soaking in the story and understanding it, trying to understand it, really paid off. It's a really good film. Just from the music, just from the effects, just from the writing, just from the directing, just from the visuals, just from everything. It's just a very, very nice put together film. So sorry if that explanation was not super clear or was kind of all over the place. I just have a hard time explaining why I like it so much. There's a lot to think through. But anyways, so that wraps up this video. Thank you guys for watching, and happy 10th birthday, Interstellar. You've impacted cinema more than you will ever know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.